Hi everyone and welcome back to another Bork No Game video. Today's video is dedicated to the PvP ban system. We're going to explain it and break it down. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. This is a post by u/Araris87, formerly known as Antiller. Antiller is the same person who sort of made like this KR server employee meta sort of deal, and really fantastic. I know a lot of people have used it, so this is the same person who's going to be providing you this information. And not to mention, they worked with the KR and TW players, so credits go out to them for this information. And of course, I'll intertwine some of my bits as well. So when it comes to this, level 1, 2, 3, and a maximum of 4 is essentially like the ban system. The reason why level 4 is max is because 10 energy is the max cost for a character within the PvP ban system, and the bans are all based off of a pick/win rate ratio. So for example, a lot of people are wondering why Esterosa wasn't banned this week. It's mostly because her win rate suffered, so she wasn't someone who is constantly winning her fights. And when it comes to characters, they can either go to level 1 or sometimes even level 2 bans, depending on their win/pick ratio. So for example, Kao Wong was overly used. He had like a crazy win ratio of like 90%. Then he might go to like ban 2, but even then it's really hard to make use of a meta character to that degree, so it's gonna be very hard for any characters to go straight to ban 2. Most characters will probably go to ban 1. I think Chifuyu Nanahara, the little like samurai girl, I think she did go to ban 2. Now, the way this works is after a character has been banned is there are two things that can happen. One of the two, alright? So they can either go up in ban, so because they were used so much, their win rate and pick rate was so high, then, you know, they will get more bans. But if no one uses them, they're like, oh, it's not really worth it. And they're not also winning, right? So for example, even if they use Kao Wong, they are not winning while using Kao Wong. The character will be lowered or removed from the actual ban. So once the ban reaches level 3 or 4, it will not be increased any further, alright? And it will be lowered by 1 every week until it reaches 0. So for example, if Xiaolin reaches level 3 or 4 ban, then at level 3, she will be lowered to level 2 the following week, level 1 to the following week, and then finally she will hit 0, and then once she hits 0 and she becomes fully meta again, she'll go back to level 1 ban. The point of this is that there is no character that can be permanently banned, so there's no character that will always have like that ban on them, but just note that you can essentially have some characters who won't be in the meta for upwards to a month to a month and a half at most, but this also makes the meta more fluid. It prevents the same stale characters repeating over and over. Just having like a more fluid meta like this is very healthy for the game. And please note that there are a few freak cases in KR/TW when a character was on 1 week ban left and it went up to 2 somehow. So for example, they only had like a 1 week ban and that character was like overly used for some weird reason. Again, even though they were on ban 1, because maybe like their win/pick ratio was so high, they went back up to 2. So even some characters who have like a 1 ban on them, like a level 1, then they can still go up to 2 if their win ratio is still like skyrocketing for some odd reason. So the thing is, with newly released characters, they get 1 week of immunity. So for all the folks who have pulled Yumi Lee, you know, the twins, or Kang So-young, they are immune to be banned for that week. And same thing with up characters. So in this example, let's say there's a new character or an up character. They are immune for that 1 week. Let's say people are still using like that one character in PvP in week 2. When the up is gone, then the character will be banned in week 3. Let's go ahead and run through a couple of scenarios so you guys can see this. Jump into Gauntlet right here. When we go into ranked battle, this is the only place that bans can actually affect you. These characters are here: Sylvia, Nanahara, Chifuyu, and then Sanai. When they are going to be upped, right, they will not be banned for the next week. So they won't be in this list even though they are going to be overly used this week. And note that they get increased stats and also skill haste by 20%. And that's really cool because it just makes it so that the meta is constantly changing, like we talked about earlier. It makes it more dynamic. And for example, Sylvia being up this week makes meta teams much more viable. And then here you can see Xiaolin and everyone, right? I didn't see any of Chifuyu Nanahara, so I feel like she's gonna come off. Xiaolin, I know a lot of people were using her, but honestly, she didn't have a high win/pick ratio whenever she appeared. So I don't think she's going to like ban 3. Honestly, like the only character that might increase is Guyun. Everyone else, not so much, like from my experience in like the gold tiers. And note that even though a character is banned, it only affects like their cost. It doesn't affect any of their stats, alright? Just because like they are here doesn't mean they get any weaker. And then here you can see like how the ban selection is going to be told within the game, where ban points will essentially increase depending on the character's pick rates and win rates. So even if the character is like has high pick rates, then it really doesn't matter because they're not winning all the time. And the biggest thing is that bans are not applied to bronze. So if you're in the bronze area, you know, feel free to spam your Xiaolins, your Kyles, your Yumi leads, whichever characters that you want. You are free from all this stuff. Note that ships will actually get like the biggest debuff, where their attack, HP, and skill haste will be lowered. So you might not be able to cast your skills 2 times for a specific ship like Gleipnir. And then when it comes to up units, we talked about it earlier. Right here it says banned units can't be selected as boost up units. All right, so for example, Seo Yoon right here was an up unit, then she will not be banned. Okay, so just as an example, we talked about it earlier, Sylvia will not be banned, and since Sylvia was never a banned unit yet, then she became an up unit. Boost up effects, they get more stats, skill haste, and their cost is also lowered. And of course, for strategy battle, they will remain unaffected. I wanted to show this really quick. This is going to be KR. So if you go into the ban system here, you can see the highest is 2. Honestly, it's really hard to reach like the ranks of like 3 or 4. Maybe someone like Na Yu Bin might go up to like 3, but it's kind of hard to run like an awakened character with 8 cost anyways. So these are just the things to look out for. And so for example, these units who are up, they will most likely not be banned, or they cannot be banned since they are up over here in KR. All right, let's go ahead and talk about like a couple of things. Who is probably going to get banned? Ryan Ferrier is a huge like one that will most likely be banned, because if you actually look at him, he's on like a couple of teams as far as like the top 10 goes. I feel like Dahl's like the only person, and then Frag Farmer, Bix isn't running it, but it's like one of those things where like a lot of people are running Ryan Ferrier, so he has a very high chance to essentially be banned. But Sanai and Sylvia, they are free from it, and same thing with Chufiyu, Nanahara, maybe even Evelyn Keller. I see Evelyn Keller on almost like every single team. Evelyn Keller has been a huge threat in most of my PvP fights actually. All right, let's go ahead and jump into a bit of PvP and show off a couple of things that I'm working on in the background. Here's like a soldier team that I kind of want to use, like a counter soldier team. And then here's going to be my mech counter like team, right? You can see that Yumi Lee is right here. I won't be really like showcasing her just yet because I want to showcase her in like my soldier team. But honestly, Yumi Lee can work everywhere. This person has 5 consecutive wins, so let's see if we can do this. Let's see what they're going to be doing here first so that the ship drops. Are they going to drop Titan first? I kind of want to see what they're going to do, because depending on what happens, they're probably going to drop Titan first. Hey, they're not doing anything. That makes me a little nervous. What are you doing? Are you AFK? Please don't be AFK. You have like a couple of win streaks. I think they're going to like dump all of their units at once on me. That's the only thing that really makes sense, or they just don't care about their win streak. What is going on here? I don't feel like I earned this win. Alright, so that is going to be the PvP ban system guide. Thank you to Antiller for providing that information. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we hit 22,000 farmer subs, we're doing a giveaway, so close to that number. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.